Straining milk kefir. This one is a quart jar and this one is a pint jar. I'm going to do the pint jar first and put the grains back in this jar, and then I'm going to put some milk back over the top. Once that's done, then I'm going to do the quart jar. The quart jar is got a lot more grains in it, so this is more a smaller jar with less in it. So here is my stainless steel bowl, my strainer, my stainless steel strainer. You don't want to use aluminum, but stainless steel is okay. And then silicone spoon. You could use a wooden spoon or a plastic spoon. Any of that would work. And here comes the first jar. This is the pint jar. I'm going to dump it straight into the strainer and just you just give it a small stir and let it go through. Just kind of stir it in little circles. The grains are in there. This is the majority of the grains. It is a colony, so that means that they are kind of stuck together in this little bunch, and that kind of makes it easier. And I can show you with the next quart how they kind of go to the top. And some people just scoop this off of the top and then they don't worry about straining. But then these guys are going back into this pint jar because I'm giving those away to a friend local. So they will be already in milk in the jar when she gets them. So, and I can just kind of stir this around a little bit to see if there's any more grains in there or any more pieces that I might keep. See, sometimes they just kind of go up to the side, and some people call these the curds. And there'll be pieces in there. And a lot of times I will keep these pieces and just put them back into the jar. So just kind of keep swizzling this a little bit until you get just a little bit left. And it does not have to be perfect. But if you're trying to multiply grains and you want like more and more grains, or if you want to share, it's best to actually keep some of this this liquid. If you look close enough, there are little tiny pieces in there. And some of these could contain, like this little piece here. Some of these could be, they could have grains. There's no guarantee, but they definitely could have grains in them. And the way you could test that, if you wanted to, you could just take this that's left in here and start in a different jar, and you could put what's left in this in another pint jar and add milk and then see what happens. If they multiply, they multiply. If not, then maybe there's just not. I would think, and I'm pretty sure, that if you did just what's left in here, even with the colonies back in the jar, and there he is down in the bottom of this jar. If you did this and put this, what's left in here, which it does not look like anything, it just kind of looks like some thickness and some chunky pieces. But I'm pretty sure that these chunky pieces that are in the bottom of this, I'm pretty sure that if you put them in new milk in a new jar without any other grains, that these would grow into more grains and multiply. And there is probably enough in here. I know it doesn't look like much because it's less than a spoonful of it, but I'm betting that this would actually make kefir. It would have enough tiny baby little bitty grains that it actually would make kefir. So basically I just take what's left in here and I would put this and kind of pour it back into my jar. And then I see, and if you see, there's some coming down that's actually do kind of look like grains. Some people don't, they just think that that's curds, where it's actually really is, it is grains. And so, I've got a mess here. Trying to do this with holding the phone. So, and back into the jar they are going. You do not have to strain your grains down to nothing. I mean, they don't have to be, they don't have to be rinsed or anything. They make like a protective coating around themselves, and that's why it kind of looks cottage cheese. Some of those pieces do. So there's that. And then I will strain. I'm just going to put the lid on this and I'll fill it with milk in a minute. Just put the lid on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and into the same container even. I'm going to do this quart. But if I open this lid, if I can get it open here with, excuse this messy video with it. All right. Here are some of the grains on top. And I filled this really full. I should not have put this much milk, but I think it was what was left in the jug the other day, and it would just fit. So, but this is grains. I mean, there's a huge amount here in this spoon. This is a big colony. I'm going to put it here in this lid for now. And it's falling off, but I'm not going to disturb those. And then there's some more in here. And some, like I said, some people, there's a little tiny amount of grains right there. And this is actually enough. That is like maybe the size, a little bit smaller than a dime. I don't know if I can break it up a little bit more here. But that would actually be enough to probably do at least a pint of milk or a cup of milk. But I'm going to just add them to this pile here. And then shake that off. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and strain what's in here. I'm leaving these guys alone. And then I'm going to strain this. And there's some stuck in the bottom as well. So I'll just kind of scrape the bottom of this jar a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, it will, it just creates a new home for them. You don't have to clean this jar very often at all, if any. Well, at some point you'll switch to a clean jar when it starts getting really, but that gives it this colony, and it's for whenever you put them back in there. So basically just stirring again until I get to where there's just a small amount left in the bottom. Then all of this will go back into the jar. I can actually go ahead and just dump this back in there. Put the lid back on. Then when I get this to strain the rest of the way, and there's underneath there into the bowl it's going. Just kind of, you can kind of see how much is left in there. All these chunks, a lot of that is actually grains. So you don't want to like force them down through there. It won't hurt you to consume some grains. Like here's another big one. It won't hurt you to consume them. But if you are really trying to get more grains, then you don't want to push them through or try to get rid of their the protective gel, but there's that. I don't have anything right here handy to show about what size it is. Here I can maybe show like this if I can hold it right there. Here's it next to a dice. So it's about the size of a dice. So and then he will just go back in there with the rest of these grains, and I keep stirring, and there's more in there. That the more yellowish is like a more developed grain, so it's the off-white colored there. So all of these will grow to be like very large, like the big colony that I put back in here. See that big guy down there?